crazy story. Just like the others, how am I always involved? I can't explain it. Must be something in the air, or maybe it's just me. Is it me? Is it me? I can't explain. What else can I say?
Okay, welcome back to Is It Me? I'm your host, Michelle. Welcome back. It's another Friday. We've had another week to spiral, and the homies are here. I'm so happy to introduce you to these two guests. You've heard them before on Is It Me? You know Josh very well. It's Kira Carlton and Tom Murphy.
Yay.
The return, never together, but been on separately.
Finally. Good to be here.
Finally.
One of my favorite episodes, Tom. Kira, I wasn't here for any of your episodes, so I have no. But and we were talking about it last time that there are more and more sensitive guys now in the world, and I consider myself a sensitive guy, and you're a sensitive guy, so I'm excited.
Very stoked.
Sensey G's. I love it.
Sensey G's, bro.
Yeah.
Little bitch boys, as my girlfriend said.
Otherwise known as bitch boys.
It's a 50-50 split with girls. They're like, you know, with Kayla now, she's like, I love how sensitive you are. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't feel good. And she's like, oh, fuck.
You're so sensitive. Yeah, it's true. I think overall Sensey is better than too stiff. Like too
I'll
hard.
take Sensey over stoic any day.
You'll take soft over stiff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, soft over stiff.
Yeah, that's actually my preference.
I did that. Cool.
I was going to say something really mean, but I'm not going to.
Thank you. Thanks.
I feel like that's so much worse because now he's just thinking.
It's not about you.
Okay.
To be honest, our heads went to the same
Our heads
place.
went to the same place.
We went to the same place. Yeah, me too. I was like,
So that's all that needs to be said.
yeah, that's what I feel. Yeah. Do you guys like alter your sensitivity based on who you're around? Like, do you have like
Mask.
guy friends who make you more?
I'm just two different people, like genuinely. Like it's not an illness. It's just like
Josh is like, I'm just bipolar.
He goes, but it's not an illness.
not an illness.
Thought it was a good time to bring it up on the mental health broadcast. that I'm bipolar.
As the Borstein himself would say, I'm good with the carpet mentality. So like I'm good at I'm good at compartmentalizing when I need to.
Oh my
know?
God! I thought you said carpet mentality.
I did.
That's what George calls it because he can't say compartmentalize.
Carpet mentality.
Mentality.
We're in the car one day and he's just like, bro, I got an idea for a bit. I'm like, what? He's like, fucking women. They're really good with carpet mentality. Like, what'd you just say?
Carpet mentality.
They got it all covered.
They're really good at vacuuming.
They have nimble fingers.
So I'm good with the carpet mentality. So it's kind of like I can put away my own, and that's a thing too for me. I don't take care of myself, I don't do the things I need to do, and I just kind of push it away. But then when it's time to deal with it or think about it or talk about it, it's there. And you've seen me fucking,
I've
go
seen you
deep.
get out of the carpet. Yeah,
I get
I've
out
seen
of the
you
carpet.
get on clean floors. Yeah,
You'll help unroll the carpet every once in a while, but so that's it.
Nice.
What about you? Do you have men in your life who bully you for being sensitive?
A bully is a strong word, but dude, I was in a frat, you know what I mean? Gotta fucking lock it up there a bit,
Oh, yeah.
2021 frats are better, and Canada frats are better than America frats. Don't fuck around in America
What
frats.
frat were you in?
Kappa Sig.
Wait, what?
Kappa Sig.
What school?
Carlton.
Okay. So my school. So my school.
I was like, oh, you went there? And then I was like,
My grandpapa's school.
Are you being serious? Are you fucking around? Okay.
Here's the dean of
If
Carlton.
a white person is like, that's my school, you're like, it could be.
It really tracks, but no, it's not mine.
What was your frat like, though?
But they were chill. They weren't like fucking dicks. And it's like in the frat too, it's like, there's like, groups within. It's not like everyone is just a psycho fucking jock. You know what I mean? It's like there's like crazy nutbag party animals, and then there's like some sensey boys. We even had a couple people LGBTQ. You know what I mean? So fucking.
Who would have thought?
And they were like hoping for the hazing, and they're like, "Where's the fucking hazing,
Relax,
dude?
Jesus.
What the fuck, man? Wait. Was there hazing?
I can't say, but no, there wasn't.
Oh.
He can't say the dean is here.
Not the posture.
Was
Oh
that
my God.
hazing?
No,
Not
there
in my
wasn't.
school.
I would love to tell stories, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
right. The code.
but no, I
brotherhood.
used to really like mask, and I'm trying hard not to.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's good.
But it's like sometimes, I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes it's like I get mixed up between like what part of me is sensitive and what part of me is like insecure, you know? And those can be really close. So I'm trying to distinguish and then not mask, you know what I mean? But it's like if you're not masking, is insecurely reacting to something, like, you know, like where somebody's like, oh, like, nice shoes, and you're like, nice fucking shoes? What the fuck you mean? You know what I mean? Like, that's not sensitive. That's being a cunt, you know? That's so fair. It's like, I'm trying to
Well, it's like the
split
Jonah
those.
Hill thing. It's like this is my boundary, but then it's like you're just manipulating.
Correct.
someone.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Not that bad, to be clear.
No,
but,
really not that bad. But that's like the
but
vibe.
same channel.
But also, like, you're so like emotionally mature, which is rare. Like, not. I feel like you are.
Yeah,
Every time I talk to
you
you,
are.
I'm like, this guy like at least has like different pillars of emotional like thought
Thanks.
process, which is like interesting.
No, you're emotionally mature.
Yeah, you are.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I definitely think
I've been
Caitlin
to
has like
therapy.
benefited to that. Like I think Caitlin has like helped you get to where you are now emotionally
Oh
mature
man,
wise.
I would love for her to be here and see this shit and just be like, see this fucking shit. You know?
Shout out to Caitlin.
Shouts out, Caitlin. I love you. But I appreciate it. I went to therapy, you know, spent a lot of time reflecting. So
Oh yeah.
I think
How
those
long
two.
did you go to therapy?
I was there for about,
never talked about that.
a year, you know, and it was
Yeah.
good.
And then
it was
you
like,
won, so you beat the game.
No, but that's
got better.
interesting because it's like you don't, you know, like, and that was when I started. It was one of the most disappointing, but also kind of like leveling things where I started, and I was like, basically like, I want to be happy, and she was like, well, you know, spoiler alert, I don't have the answers to life. So like, if you're here for that, you know,
Yeah.
get fucked. So it's like kind of like what we're gonna do here is like find out your blueprint, like your foundation, and just so you have a better understanding. But yeah, I was in there for about a year, and I went because I couldn't get over my ex for like 7 years. You know, yeah, brutal.
Yep, on that
And
track.
yeah, exactly. So I
Holy
was
shit.
Ex that you were with for 7 years, or getting over for 7 years?
getting over
Okay.
How
And
long,
were you together?
Yeah.
about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Damn.
it was
Yeah,
a
no.
lot.
Cuz
Therapy
second
for
night.
sure.
Holy shit.
And I was actually
It worked though, by the way. It was great.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because it was most likely more about you than the actual relationship
It's
and
always
whatever.
more
is-
about you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was like, I mean, just to oversimplify, make myself look maybe shittier than I was, but the comparable archetype is like older guy, bit of a younger girl. She's like ready to leave, and he's kind of stuck in his hometown. That's like basically I was the older guy. You know what I mean? And I was like insecure, shook, and I kind of latched on to this girl to kind of give myself confidence. But it's like, I should have got that from other sources. So that was it in a nutshell. There's obviously more nuance, but you know, to oversimplify.
Slay.
Yeah, slay.
In December, Tom and I went for dinner and we had a nice conversation.
So nice.
And he like helped me work through a lot of stuff through that too.
Nice.
Because I am in the same boat. Just keeps
Because, yeah, at this
years
point-
keep passing, and I'm like, why am I still in this?
That's it.
But then I keep
It's
thinking,
surpassed-
I'm like, Tom, it's 7 years. So I'm like, I got a reference point. I'm like, as long as it doesn't go above 7, I'm good.
Wow, might be fucked, but woo, not as bad as Tom. Holy shit. God damn.
Is it past the amount of time? Yeah, it's about the same. Now it's leveled up about the
Okay.
same amount of time I was in it. Then now I've been out.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been out.
I mean, the nice thing about it, like for the silver lining, is it's like, I think I maybe mentioned it, it's like a flag of like, oh, I can take this as clearly I have a thing to work on personally, not anything that's wrong with me, but it gives you a clear outline or like a problem statement where you're like, this is an issue for me. Now I have at least like a goal to solve.
Yeah, for
You know?
sure, for sure. And like even when we were talking, it was like it almost, it's like never really about like the person. It's just like about how you attached to
Fully.
them, and then it's like it's for sure like some of their behaviors plays into it, certainly. But like, and the fact that like I have to continuously like be in the same like arena with them.
Yes.
But it's really not about them at all. Like, and I think that's what like we kind of
Fully.
came to. We were like, it could have been anyone.
Because I don't know about
Just
you.
was like the wrong time.
For me, it was kind of my first real relationship too, the one that I got stuck on. So I don't know if that was for you, but for me, it was a whole other bag of tricks. But it is absolutely, you know, it's about you. It's not about them. Not to, quote George.
Yeah, there
Costanza.
was a friend I had high school and then like CJEP, and she was someone who was like friends with like a lot of dudes. She was like more comfortable with dudes more often than women, and like it was just like a thing that sucked is that all these guys were just falling in love with her and being obsessed with her.
She was the main character.
She was.
But
yeah.
no,
I love
but
that
it was
for her.
it was like she was just chilling. She was, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then like
that's literally
Was
why.
she though? I'm always
So-
skeptical.
no, yeah, she was just chilling, and it's just like the guys, because there's not much going. They're filling in blanks almost. I feel like for what they need in their heads, what's going on with their lives.
They're
and
like
I found
projecting
out
on her.
exactly.
That's
like
fair.
they're going through a period in their
Yeah.
life where they're getting older. And I found out recently, nobody told me back in the day. There was a guy who was literally like showing up at her house in the middle of the night. He was like getting blocked and finding ways to call her. Like it was crazy. And it was like they never even hooked up. And it was
Right.
like, it's crazy. And I
He
was
was
like,
just
how do
in this
people
state of
and how did so many people lose their minds over one person? Like, does she have a magic smell or something?
She was
you
wearing
know?
Glossier U.
yeah, yeah. No, I did.
It's just
That
it's like a
sounds
pheromone,
like-
or not like a perfume
yeah, it's
to
a
get them.
pheromone thing. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like that's
It's like that's happened to me quite a few times also.
people have shown up to your house.
No. But being friends with men and like less in my late 20s, which has been disappointing because it's
You're
just like
opening right now.
I'm like
You're like, I want a husband now.
I'm like this was a strategy I thought, and it just keeps not working. But like in my earlier 20s, like if my like I would have these like very like deep relationships with like I would always have like a guy best friend, and like a few times, they think they're in love with you, but they've never done anything with you. They've never like gotten
Yeah.
to a place where like you could even be in love, but they like think they're in love with you because they're like, oh, like I connect so deeply with this person, and I trust them.
and they
able
have
to go-
tits and a vajayjay.
And they have tits and a
Tits
vagina,
and
so
a
it's like,
vagina.
why not? Like, it's like almost like, well, all the blocks are there, so why wouldn't I be
Yeah.
in love with her? But it's not real. It's
Yeah.
just a projection of something they want and felt that I was filling for them.
It's also like idealization too of like
Limerence as
relationships and women, and like you
Yeah.
know, I feel like this happens to a lot of young women where a bunch of men like throw themselves at them because they're like they like are like, oh, you're perfect, you're like, I see this like whatever with you, but then once they actually get into a relationship, the man can't like put forward what he's like built up because like he just isn't actually ready for a relationship or doesn't actually want commitment, just like wants to like have like ownership over this like hot
Yes.
thought, you know?
Without getting too much, I've been this guy
Yeah.
for sure. You know, like, we're all talking. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Who would do that? You know, but
But it's
yeah.
fine. Like I don't think it's like I'm not demonizing either side. It's
No,
just, like,
no, it's
like
very
a fact.
natural
Like,
actually,
yeah.
and it's happened to me as well. Like I think, like Josh and I talked about this a few weeks ago, but like the concept of like limerence, I just like learned what that is.
limerence?
Yeah, limerence, and it's like it's kind of what we're describing. It's like this. It's this like projection / like obsession with someone, and it's like basically your brain. It's usually associated with like people who have like anxious attachment styles, but I think it can happen to anyone. But it's like, you know, when you have a crush on somebody,
Yes.
it's like that obsess and like it's like if like they text you that day, like it would like change your day. Like
Yeah.
everything they do alters your day.
Dislike.
Like
Which I hate.
Not
They have-
into
they
that.
have
Yeah,
that.
not
Yeah.
into that.
Hate
they
that.
have so much like it's like their attention has so much power over you. That's
Yeah.
like being in a state of limerence.
How do you spell that? Limerence.
LIMERENCE. I learned
Interesting.
about it on
New word.
TikTok.
New word.
That's just the word. Like it's a good feeling, but it's the worst feeling ever
Yeah.
because your happiness is like dictated by someone else's actions, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Fuck
Yuck.
this."
And
Dude, it's like a drug.
Yeah,
Not into
it is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah,
It,
yeah.
I think it follows a lot of like the same
Yeah.
like addictive patterns that like just regular addictions do. But the trick that I learned again via TikTok is to
Kill them.
is to detach the idea from the person. So it's like it's to look at the
Yes.
person and go like, let's say I had a crush on Kira, and I noticed like, oh, Kira's so funny and she's so kind, and these are things I want in a partner. It's to say, oh, well, I want kindness and someone who's funny in a partner.
Right.
It doesn't mean that like I'm obsessed with Kira. Like, you know what
You
I mean?
are, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I am, and it's finally time that we talk about it. But like it's like
Open up.
it's like separating that
Yeah.
Dude, this
actively
is
and being intentional and being like, oh, like I'm not obsessed with this person. I'm obsessed with the fact that they check a box for me.
This is that thing where it's like those memes where it's like you see a person on the bus and you immediately imagine a whole life together.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Or airport's
Airport's a good one.
crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
I've never done
Traveling,
that.
You know, you're in
Oh,
transition.
man, yeah.
Like,
On
it's
the
like-
plane too.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's like a theory that if there's someone on the plane that's near your age, they're the hottest person you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's electric.
No.
It's like a work crush, you know?
yes.
It's like when you're at work
Yes.
and it's like you have a crush, and it's like in any other situation, you would not even look at this person, but
literally-
because you work together and you need, like, your brain is almost like searching
Yeah.
for the dopamine.
Yeah, it's always like the most mundane like father, and I'm like, wow, wowie, what I do to be his wife.
What I do to be
What I
his
do to
wife?
be his
Why
wife.
I ought to tell
I'm
you.
24. He's 39. I'm like, what I do, what I fucking do. I do.
Do
Bob wife.
anything.
Mom wife. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'd be a trad wife for him.
Oh my god.
What's a Chad wife?
A trad.
Trad.
It's kind of a trad
It's
wife.
the
to be
incel
honest.
fantasy.
A trad wife, it stands for traditional
Oh,
life. and it's-
traditional
Yeah,
life.
it's like this shitty. Well, I don't want to listen. Feminism is
Nah,
about
fuck
choice.
it.
Feminism is about choosing and having the right to do whatever the fuck you want. But trad wife is like a weird ass trend where like people are just like regressing in like any progression. that
Trad
we've
wife is
made.
like they're like, what I want is to be a stupid woman and never have thought. That's like they're like, I want to be dumb.
Sounds
I wanna
kinda
be-
It's
nice.
more like
You know?
yeah, it's like I want to serve my husband.
Exactly.
Can
That's
I
what
be a trad wife?
Exactly.
Yeah, like literally, like,
Please,
it's
dude.
like it's like being a stay-at-home. It's like having a.
It's like living
being
to
a mother,
serve.
staying at home, serving your husband, cleaning for him, cooking for him, expecting nothing in return. Like and
and
then-
being so happy and just
being so
stoked about it
happy.
your whole life.
yeah, because they don't want. There's like a whole branch of like I don't really know
It's like a butler.
anymore what feminism is, but there's a lot of women now that are like rejecting the whole like. I don't want to work 35 hours a week and be a CEO. Like I want to fucking
Right.
like have a baby.
Dude,
and,
I
like,
would be a stay-at-home dad in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I
trad
mean?
is like way more.
No,
like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
being a stay-at-home mom is not trad. Like
No,
I feel like
no,
trad
no,
is
no,
like
no,
way
no.
more dangerous. But
Yeah.
Trad is
it's more
weirder.
like relying on a man. It's like having no like income of your own, no like,
Right. And just submitting to it.
and just being like,
like,
this
making
guy
bread,
like is the
you
reason
know?
I'm gonna be okay.
and like wearing those fucking aprons.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
all
making
wear like
bread.
it's like reverting to like the 1800s, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Let me churn a butter," you know, and they
Yeah.
had to do all that shit. You know?
oh, that's interesting.
'Cause
I
there-
didn't
I
know.
guess there's like an idealized like version of like being like chilled out and like not having to like grind every day and like
Yeah.
be a CEO and stuff. But then like I think we're like missing the point of like literally having no like freedom.
Dude, it's like a poor mutation of like the homesteading trend.
Yeah.
You know, it's like homesteading and then this like splintered off and it's like trad wife.
What's
fucking-
homesteading?
Homesteading is like people who buy like a plot of land in the forest and they like build a cabin
Oh,
off the
right,
grid
right,
that
right,
uses
right.
rainwater and they have their
Yeah.
own plants and like all that shit.
Which my friend, by the way, does that.
Super
and
rad.
it's super interesting.
Super rad.
Because there's a lot of things that she's super like holistic and like is really into like spirituality and making your own food and pickling and all
Fuck
this
it up.
stuff.
Yep.
But there's like certain things like she comes back to Montreal and she's like, even her, she's like, bro, this shit's hard.
It's so
Like,
hard.
this shit's
It's like living
hard.
on a farm. Like, bro, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's probably really good for your mental health. It's fucking tough.
Yeah.
Like working
Yeah.
the
She's like,
land.
sometimes I
There's
want
a reason why people don't do
dumplings.
it. You know, they
You know, like,
stopped in the
yeah.
pioneers.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like
fucking
that's what it
brutal.
is. Is like you
tough.
wake up and you're like, I gotta feed the chickens.
Of course.
the chickens are gonna die.
Yeah,
I
of
gotta
course.
pickle the shit, or it's
Yeah.
gonna go bad.
Or
and
like, I
you
want
have
to
nothing
have
else to
food for
worry
the winter.
about.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like
she-
everything is
Her
serious.
number, like her two like top things are like she's like sometimes I want to just like Uber Eats some fucking dumplings.
course.
Like, you know, like sometimes I just want to have like easy access food. And then two is like she's like I have to pay like it's like really expensive to get potable water and like water that's not
Right.
like contaminated. So she has to like pay for like a whole new like system to get like water that's drinkable and showerable. Because even now she says like her water smells like blood. Like she
Ooh,
showers and it's just so
She got hard
like,
water.
it's so mineral. Yeah, it's super hard
Yeah.
water.
I know about hard
Super
water. I live
hard,
in
yeah.
the country. I know about that. Yeah.
I know about hard water.
water. I don't know anything about
The
hard
water
water.
in Ireland's hard too. Like
hard as
people get
fuck.
like I
So
would know. There's something hard in the water in Ireland.
It just means it has minerals in it. Mine has
Yeah.
sulfur, so it's stinky as fuck. You know.
It makes your hair like fucking dry and brassy. So
Right.
people put like shower head like filters and shit.
Right.
And I think it's cool. I think it's like the first people are doing it now, but I think it's gonna keep growing. You know, I hope it does at least because it's like
Yeah.
seems like a nice way to live. And
Yeah.
I'm on the I don't know if you guys are on, but I'm on the related to this. It's like natural cleaning pool algorithm. So it's like homesteaders will like dig kind of a pond. And like ponds by themselves are nasty, like scummy and shit. What they do is basically they kind of like dig a ditch around the pond, but the ditch's walls don't break the water. So what you end up having is like around the pond, you have all these kind of like nice, but like not good to swim in plants and like algae and shit that clean the water. But the plants can't get over the underwater barrier. And then you have a clean, natural swimming pool in the middle.
That is cool.
And it's so sick, you know? And they're like, I did this fucking shit. It's clean. We never have to touch it. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
That's
you know?
so cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never do that though.
No.
I can't even put up a shelf in my apartment. I just have like books on the floor because I'm like, I can't even do this.
I'm just like that person that if I had a pool, I wouldn't. I'd use it for like twice and then never
no,
use
I
it
would,
again.
Every
Like, I
day
just
I'd be
wouldn't.
fucking lapping it out.
Yeah.
I'd be lapping it out.
Dude, swimming, amazing. Feels so nice. Feels
I
so
have a
nice.
pool in my building and I've never been in it. Yeah.
Is it free like to use or do you have to?
Yeah, it's like an indoor pool that you can use, and like people swim it. They do laps and stuff. I've like been meaning to just like go soak in it because it's just like sounds nice. But
Dude, getting older feels good on your joints. You can
Yeah, a little
move
low
all your
impact.
body without worrying about like pulling something. You know?
the reason is because someone said something to me that was like, "What do you do for your body like to honor it?"
You're like,
And
fuck you.
And I was like, well, no, what do you mean? Because we're like, it was kind of related to like body dysmorphia and stuff. And she was like, what do you do for your body to like really honor it? Like, and like protect it or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, like I'll go to the gym. Like I'll take care of like physically my body and like I'll feed it good things.
Nice.
And she's like, no. That's like the bare minimum. I'm not talking about like exercise or like, I'm like, what do you do to honor like to like honor the fact that you can move and like the fact that you like, you know, don't have any like disabilities that you like what do you do to like celebrate? And I was like, she was like a pool. And I was like just like sitting in a pool. And I was like, I should start doing that because I like the way that my body feels in a pool.
Yeah.
Dude, it feels great.
Honestly, Kian and I have been like spa, like
I love the
whores,
spa.
Fuck it up.
Nice. No, that's great. A
Fuck it
spa.
up.
I love a spa.
We just go
Yeah.
all
Me
the
too.
time. We're going on
Yeah.
Valentine's Day on Wednesday.
Where are you
Very
going?
nice.
Which one?
We're going to Strum. Okay,
Strum
we've
is
been
good.
to like multiples. We've been to Boda
Yeah, let's
Boda.
talk. Not a fan.
Not okay.
Shit,
I
trash.
don't want to shit on it because Kian really likes it.
I mean, it's
I didn't
great.
dislike it. I liked it because I was with him. But out of the spas I've been to,
Yeah.
there's
Nah.
not enough. I would
C
say
tier, C
It's
tier.
just like pools.
Yeah.
Also, people are loud. They don't fucking pay attention to the quiet rule.
It's nice at night though. The view of the city is nice. So like
You are that guy that's like shushing people at the spa.
No, I don't shush. I'm not because I'm too
100%.
fucking nervous. But
Do
like,
you do like leave and look at them passive aggressively
No, I
as you
don't
leave?
even
No,
fuck
he
with that. I
internalizes
keep
it and then talks about
fucking-
it in therapy.
Exactly. I just get pissed and then I'm just like fuck, and then I leave. But last time I don't have any flip flops, so I had to buy some there because this fucking place doesn't give you. That's another whole thing.
Yeah.
But the ones I got apparently were like the loudest fucking flip flops on earth. So I was like squeaking and like taking, like squeak,
Like pissing yourself off the whole time.
I know, and I was like, oh god.
Who's that guy with the flip flops?
I know. It was shit.
Oh my God.
But the
Yeah, not my
Nordique in
favorite.
Old Port.
Okay, I've never been to Nordique.
it's good.
My favorite spa that I've been to in Montreal is actually in Rosemont, like outside Laval. and
Yeah.
It's called a Finlande.
I love the Finlande.
It's so nice because
dope.
it's kind of like obviously
Taking
it's not
notes.
quite rural, but it's more like
Yes.
it's in a forest.
Yeah.
and so it's
Nice.
like on a little lake, and so like when you go out into like the outdoor like pools or the outdoor like hot tubs or whatever, like there's it's just like a cute
Yeah.
river, and then there's also a bunch of like different sauna rooms. There's like a salt room that's like pink Himalayan walls.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's
nice.
like a
I've never done that.
Moroccan room.
yeah,
There's like
Moroccan
hammams.
teas. There's
Yeah,
free
not
teas
hammams.
like
Yeah.
all over. You
Yes,
just drink teas.
that's top tier.
There's like
I
a
love
room-
a cucumber water.
Yes.
Yeah, when they do the
Very
good,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a room where you can just pass out. Like it's like a
rest.
sensory room.
Yeah.
So you like put on headphones and it's nature sounds and you just knock the fuck out.
They
It's
have like so many
amazing.
themed rooms too. Like they have all these like a Middle Eastern it's called hammam, right?
Yeah, hammam room.
Not
There's like
hammam.
this. If you like, I don't really like saunas and steam rooms because
Oh,
I
I
like to
love
breathe
The best.
properly.
Yeah, no, the best. I love it. So that's
Yeah,
it.
you're a Schwitz
We're
guy.
like they're on the same. We're on the
I
same.
love a steam room.
You
I'm like,
schwitz. You
I love
fucking-
it, dude. Oh my god,
You
that's
like
all
that.
I need. I'm such a toxic individual in terms of what I consume. You guys saw me smash a bag of chips
Yeah,
and
this
cookies,
shit's wild.
a Coke Zero, a coffee, a Zin, and another coffee before.
Yeah.
I gotta get it out of me.
You need a fat gold chain. Get in there with the fucking.
Yeah, no, but then oh my god, it's gonna get so hot in there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what fucked me up. Is I didn't realize, and I brought shit in with me. I had like a metal water bottle. First of all, the water was boiling, and then I grabbed it. I burnt my hand.
yeah, no, you can't do
Oh.
a metal water bottle.
Oh man, I'm
in
not
the
smart. I don't think things through. Do you guys fall asleep when you get like a long massage?
Oh, dude.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's
yeah.
such a shitty feeling. Like it's such a
What?
good sleep, but you wake up and you're like, I missed
Yeah.
20 minutes of that
Yeah.
massage.
Oh, word. Okay.
Oh no, I'm like, okay, so the last good one I had was at the Old Port one, and it was like the most relaxing thing. So I woke up and
Love the massage.
I woke up and me and Caitlin were in there, and I was like fucking in another dimension, you know. And then I get out of the room and I go to like the common area, and I go to Caitlin. I'm like, oh, that was the best massage. She's like, shut up, it's a fucking song. Because I was so out of it that I was just like, you know, I was so relaxed. I was just so loud, but
Shit.
no, I love that. I don't feel.
What
like
do they
that,
have,
yeah.
though?
If you guys want to up your like spa game, there's even more than Finale, even a little bit more remote. It's like maybe 40 minutes away, like maybe even 35-minute drive, like up north. It's called Beau Rêve. And it's like, you can go for like a weekend and it's really affordable, but it's like in the middle, like it's in the woods because it's like up north. It's a great like little, like if you do like an anniversary there or like
Me and
a
Caitlin did.
Beau
uh,
Rêve, like good
nice
dreams.
dreams. Yeah, good dreams.
like
There's
nice
one.
dreams.
There's a Nordique by Tremblant, and it's really good. And you can go. There's like a little river there, and you can do a cold plunge in it, and it's nice. But
Do you
Yeah,
do
we're
the cold
doing-
plunge? Do you guys do
Oh,
the
yeah,
cold
every
plunging?
time.
Dude, yeah.
He's good at like, he's like, let's do 3 minutes. I say 1.
dude, it,
I'll do
hurt, it
30
hurts your
seconds.
3
skin.
minutes?
So
It
I do it.
hurts.
But it's 'cause
25
he-
So 3
seconds.
minutes is
Because
like
he,
the
like-
the sweet spot time.
Yeah, but he grew up like next to the ocean in Ireland, and so it's very
hard
cold
fucking
in the
core.
winter, and they swim in the ocean in the
Yeah.
winter. They do dips every New Year, dips every Christmas. Like,
I've
they
done
have
a
big,
polar
like-
bear plunge
Yeah,
with
polar bear
Mike.
plunges.
Mike was like, let's do a polar bear plunge at Verdun Beach.
I literally was gonna
Almost
write
died.
like one day maybe I'll write a joke about this, but like almost every guy I've ever dated and known has been like, I idolize Wim Hof. Like they fucking love Wim Hof. They fucking
Is he the guy, the cold plunge guy?
adore Wim Hof. They're like, did you
He's-
know that,
he's the
that you
breathing.
can that it's actually good for your body to take a cold shower? Fuck off. Literally, holy shit.
I agree, dude. The frat dudes
Oh,
obsessed
man.
with cold showers.
They're
Yeah.
like Wim Hof is like to men what like Taylor Swift is to women. They're like, oh man, bro, he walks on like snow and like with his bare feet. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like a different type of human. Like that's
Yeah.
not like he's not like aspirational. Like he like literally has like a different anatomy that like allows him to do that shit. And they like he's not like try this.
But he doesn't bug me. Like I haven't seen him. I haven't heard that too many guys.
Who's
talk
that other
about
guy
him.
though?
my
There's
God.
like another guy that people are on. The one who's like get up early, like get sunshine.
David Goggins.
Yes.
Dude, fucking.
What? Oh, Huberman? Okay.
No, I
there's
think
like
I'm
50
talking about
though.
David Goggins.
There's also the fucking Jocko podcast, that military guy. You know him? He's like on one, and they're all, it's all the same shit. It's fucking Tony Robbins. It's all bullshit. It's
a
not
bunch of
bullshit,
guys.
but it's like
Just a bunch of guys trying
the
to get
hype
wet.
is
Wet.
Wet
I was
and
gonna say it's a bunch
cold.
of guys trying to take a cold shower without having to like have a boner. Like it's just like weird.
One of the coolest stories I've heard was about this comic who was apparently like a savant. Like he was like a prodigy in comedy, and it was crazy like how he accelerated through his career. In like a year and a half, he like did like, I don't remember his name. I think whatever. He did Last Comic Standing 1. And then he just went to his room and apparently just laid down on his bed for like 48 hours, just considering everything. And he realized, like, I have an ability to get on a stage and like sway an audience in the way that I want to sway them, whether it's laughing or something else. He was like, I can make so much more money if I just do self-help. So he just became like a motivational speaker and became like
Yeah.
a humongous,
Oh my God,
like
yeah.
multi-millionaire.
what's his name?
That's like corporate money right
Borge, are you
there.
able to look it up?
Motivational
Thank you.
speaker. Yeah. We could
Hey,
all quit our jobs tomorrow, decide we're motivational
Well,
speakers,
it's-
and rack in like so much money.
thing
It's like
is,
legal
like-
cults almost.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. It used to be called cults. Now it's
Yeah.
called motivational speaking.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm serious. Have you seen that Tony Robbins? You see that they had a Tony Robbins doc? I was in. So like in my early 20s, I did like student painting. You know, where it's like you run a painting business.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they come to the colleges. Bro, everyone was fucking jerking off to Tony Robbins and David Goggins and all that shit. And I saw on Netflix there's like a Tony Robbins documentary, and the cover shot is him going like this. And the title is "I'm Not Your Messiah," but it's like you're fucking saying you're the Messiah. You know what I mean? If you're
Yeah.
going like this on the fucking, and then the whole thing is about how he's like people are fucking crying, and it's like, look, I shouldn't knock because there's like a lot of good I think he does, but
Steve Rizzo is this guy's name?
Oh my God, I remember Steve Rizzo.
What a name. Steve Rizzo. Okay, Brooklyn.
and he just did it and then bailed.
Becoming
Oh,
a
it was
human
transitioned
being.
from being to a motor. Oh yeah,
after one of his shows at a New Jersey Comic Club, he met Al Pacino. Huh. Interesting. Is this the guy that you were thinking of?
Maybe.
Anyway, doesn't really
I
matter.
heard the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
really. I do that. I do this thing where I just hear a story and then it's
Yeah.
just real
What
for
you
me.
were
But
saying.
it's crazy that you say that about the fact that he was able to like be so self-aware to be like, oh, I can manipulate a crowd.
Sounds
Exactly.
sociopathic.
But that's what comics do. You know what I mean? So
Well,
it's like
not
But
all
the
comics.
motivation,
no, but that is what we
is
do, though.
important.
Yeah.
We literally manipulate people into
But hopefully not,
laughing.
hopefully not in like a cynical way.
Exactly.
Like, hopefully most of us
Motivation
are
is
like
important.
trying to make people laugh and be happy.
No, for sure.
Like,
No, of course.
But a big part of
But-
commanding a room is hypnotizing that room. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen comics do horrible jokes that work because whatever they're doing in their delivery
I
and in their
understand.
presence, they're convincing that room that to like, you know?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I'm not doing it. I don't think I hypnotized.
No, but like I'm not saying it in like a bad way. I'm just saying like manipulation like as a verb. I'm not saying
Right.
necessarily like we often think of it as like
No
negative.
connotation, neutral connotation.
Neutral connotation,
Okay,
thank
okay,
you.
okay.
And that's kind of what we do because like obviously it's a little bit different with stand-up because people come primed, ready, consenting to do that. But you are like you do when you get really, really good. That's you are able to manipulate like large groups of people into finding what you find funny.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's true.
So it's like as they get better, it's like we wonder why then they end up being capable of like doing all this. Some of them do like kind of like sociopathic shit or like are manipulative in their like interpersonal relationships. And it's like because at a certain point you probably don't learn how to turn it off. Like, do you feel like absent stand up, you're able to like navigate people better? Because I find I am like, I'm able to navigate like awkward situations with people. I'm able to like have conversations with people that like 5 years ago, I would have like been way too nervous to like navigate.
No, I
Like
think that's
Uber
why.
drivers and I, like I'm a pro.
Do you tell them that you're a comic?
No, never.
Okay.
I'm good at having conversations. Like I'm able to like I'm able to like speak better. I'm able to
I mean, speaking, yeah, like in meetings and like handling that and like handling presentations, but
I feel like the reason I started comedies was because I was naturally like a
Yeah.
conversationalist.
Okay. Right.
Like I'm really I think I'm a conversationalist. Like
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable like being in different like I don't know chatting.
No, I agree.
Like
I was like-
making situations less awkward.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like
okay.
diffusing.
You've always
Yeah,
been able to
yeah.
diffuse. See, I wasn't like maybe yes. I like maybe and some people would have said I was, but I feel myself and my own confidence. I'm able to like diffuse situations that like 5 years ago I would have like I think broken down and like not been able to handle.
There are like certain people though that I'm so fucking awkward talking to or like just with in general and I like can't I don't know why I can't scratch it but like certain people I think that maybe they make like a certain part of me nervous that I like haven't quite figured out how to tame yet and I am so awkward with like it'll be like someone I work with that like is in the position of power and like kind of freaks me out and then every time we talk I'm like and I say something so out of pocket and I'm just like I'm so sorry like because I'm so nervous.
This reminds me when we were talking about like code switching basically, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like I find the more aware I am of that and the more I can like consciously suppress it and not do it and say like what I'm thinking, like the more that shit diminishes. Cause it's like you're in those situations with somebody who's like really cool or like whatever, you know, and you're like, oh, I gotta say like all this funny shit and like do all this and like be a sick, cool guy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, like just say what you would like say what you're thinking and don't be like, oh,
hard.
nice shirt, shithead, but like say, you know, say like just regular things.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just like don't do too much. I do too much. When
Don't
I'm
do too
nervous.
much.
When I'm nervous,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I gotta say something like
Oh,
every,
yeah,
every
I'm
5
doing
seconds.
so much.
Exactly,
I do
yeah.
so much.
Like trying to set up a punchline for like 5
Dude, I think yes.
conversations
I
from
think
now.
because I was when you were talking about like talking to the Uber driver, I used to have a real compulsion. Maybe you can relate to like make conversation and like
Fill the
kind of-
silence.
Exactly. And I even talked about it in therapy. And it's like now I make a conscious effort to not do that, to not fill the
To
silence.
just sit in the silence.
which is uncomfortable, but it's also something you need on stage.
But also,
you know?
yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
also when you do it, it's practice. Like, I mean, I'm taking all these ride shares and I literally like yesterday I took a ride share with a guy and we didn't talk the whole time and it was totally fine.
Good.
And
Yes.
I didn't feel any type of way about it at any point. Like I just was like, this is chill.
Dude,
like,
I find I get in those and my anxiety really rises in the
Yeah.
first like 3 minutes and I'm like, fuck, someone's got to say something. This is insane, you know? And then after I get over the crust, I'm like, okay, no one said anything. No one's freaking out. Like, it's not my fault. Like, it's all right. And then
But they
it's
should
good.
play music. Like, I get really weirded out when I'm in an Uber or something, and like they
But this
won't
is a
talk. I won't talk, and then they won't put music on, and I'm like,
But
are we
sometimes
just
they
gonna
put
do
on like fucking whack ass radio
I
and
don't
they
mind.
blare
I put my
it.
headphones
I don't
on.
mind.
So yeah,
I'd rather
I do
that.
headphones in.
Yeah, headphones in when I
Get
walk
in.
in. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? For Josh, they go,
Yeah.
yeah, and then my headphones are in. I hope they don't ask questions, but sometimes they do, and I just, you know what I mean? I'm not hearing
No,
it.
that's a play.
Yeah.
That's a good play.
That's
Or
guys should do that.
Sometimes when I'm with you on sometimes when you're talking to like another person, like someone you don't really know super well, but you know them. And then
Yes.
like you're like like when you're on the metro together and you're
Oh,
like
yeah,
stuck
classic.
and you're just like, and you're like, how do I make conversation? I like have started to do
Like you're going from with a comic you don't know to another
Yes,
show.
like exactly,
And you're like,
then you're like, how do
crazy
I?
set.
Yeah, what do we talk about? And then I just started being like, oh, it's not my responsibility to figure out what we talk
Correct.
about because I'm like, if it's my responsibility, then it's also equally their responsibility. And if they're not doing it and I'm not doing it, I'm like, let them deal with the silence because
Yeah.
I'm
God.
actually chill.
I should do that.
I kind of
I'm
do
chill.
that, but it doesn't affect me. Like I don't do it
Yeah.
and feel awkward or uncomfortable. I just do it. It makes me feel better,
Nice.
almost.
That's
But you know what I
sick.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
like
that's
I don't
cool.
want there to be, And sometimes it's too much. You know what I mean? I'm definitely like maybe like I'm like trying too hard to fill the silence, but like that's why I like smoking weed. I can't
Bro,
consider
that's
these
why I
things.
don't like smoking weed. Because then if I'm high in those situations, forget it.
No, I
I'm
need it.
bugging, you know?
It's well, see, that's the thing is if I'm sober, I'm just. Tick, 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 tick. I was having a conversation with Matthew the other night. I said sorry 7 times. He's like, you don't need to say sorry. What's wrong with you? I'm a
Yeah.
psycho. So when I
Yeah.
smoke weed, at least I can take a second and chill. And
Yeah, I
That's
get
interesting.
chatty
So
when I
you
smoke weed.
weed and it helps you chill out in those situations.
So when I smoke weed, it makes me very anxious and self-conscious. But like that, like gives me a filter. Finally, I have no filter without the smoking weed. I started.
That's so funny. I feel like
That's
the opposite
wild.
for most people, filter
Yeah,
wise.
yeah, no, for sure.
Usually, like, yeah.
It gives me no filter.
Yeah.
And I like it only because I don't even have a conversation. I'm just talking at people. When I'm
No.
high, I'm just like going into like the deepest conversations
Yeah.
of my brain and you're just the audience.
Yes.
And I don't feel bad about it. And I like that feeling.
Dude, I
like the feeling of being able to take up space and not giving a fuck.
I get
you know
high,
what I mean?
get
That's a nice
100
feeling.
filters.
Yeah,
you know, I'm like, oh, I get 100 filters, and then I say the 100th thing, you know, and people are like, what the fuck? Because like before I've said it, I'm like, wow, that's like that, and like that, and like that, and then like that, and I'm like, you know about that fucking shoe we saw? And they're like, and then I'm like, I'm crazy. I'm sorry, like, you know, and then I
Yeah.
say sorry 5 fucking times, just like, yeah, you know, fuck.
Yeah.
No,
No,
like, even
I-
like on stage, if I'm not high enough, like it just comes out of me sometimes, and like it's
Are you
fine.
high on
like,
stage every time?
No, so it's not. It's there's an art to it. I need to smoke a certain amount of time before. If I smoke right before getting on stage, I don't like it. It's not fun. I'll be fine,
good.
but like I don't like it.
You
It's
got
not-
your shit dialed like 33 minutes before you hit that, you know?
No, it's usually like about an hour and a half, 2.5 hours. It's a good window.
Okay.
And then I'm
It's like
calm
a
and I'm kind of waking
bong
up.
hit,
Yeah,
which
a bong
makes a
hit.
difference.
I'm
For
wondering, like,
sure.
do you have your formulas worked out? Like, it's like one fucking bowl, an hour 21, or is it like, you know, how precise is it? You know?
It all depends on like the weed I'm smoking and how much weed I've smoked that week. Like every once in a while, I'll do that second bong hit with the first one right before I leave. Sometimes it's a little much, but then something I've learned that works for me is to not fight that low energy once I'm on stage. If I fuck up my dosage, is to just embrace it and almost use it to my set and kind of find an angle to be honest with the audience. But when I'm not high enough, everything just pours out of me. Like I share too much about my life, and then the amount of times I'm not high enough on stage, say something, go, why did I say that?
But you know what I like about you that I've noticed is you can sit in it. If a joke doesn't go well, you don't apologize for it. You're like, that's what I said. It's not going well. Like, on to the next thing.
I appreciate that.
Something that I try, that I see myself doing, I don't like, and a bunch of other comics too, is like a joke goes well, and you say some shit like, oh, that was a new one, like working
Yeah,
that
you
out. And
backtrack.
that shit always gets a laugh, but it's like, you're a pussy, like just sitting.
It is
you know what I mean?
it is like a bitch move
Yeah,
for sure. And even when you're
exactly.
doing it, you're like, this is such a
I know,
bitch move.
you're like,
but you're like, fuck it. But
like, I
then
want the
keep it
laugh.
moving.
Yeah. Well, it's
Keep
just
it moving.
the way
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
yeah.
see it is that room of people, they're listening to me and they heard the thing that I said. And for whatever reason, like it wasn't funny to them, or maybe they didn't even know that it was supposed to be funny. Sometimes on my delivery, I fuck up whatever, and I don't give them that time, maybe even. But I know that there's more for them to laugh at. So I keep like talking as if, you know what I mean? And I just think that they don't know what the fuck is going on. And the
Yeah.
second you let them know something's wrong, they're like, oh. And
No,
then
that's
now
legit.
they're
Fully.
fully
Yeah.
seeing it every time.
Because
like
they
the-
could just be thinking it's a really long setup.
That's like the whole thing with like showbiz in general. If you're doing a fucking dance routine, you fuck up a step. If you're singing a song, you miss a lyric. No one's gonna know unless you go, oh shit, I missed a fucking lyric. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
exactly.
the same thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but stand up, I feel like it's pretty obvious when your shit bombs. And then they're all like, "Hey, none of us laughed." So it's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been 2 minutes. No one's laughing.
I usually say something stupid. Like I'll be like, because a lot of my jokes are like random topics, or I say random things, and then I'll be like, "Oh, I guess not a carrot audience," and they're
yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
they're like, "What?"
Or
I go,
have-
"Oh, not a gay dad audience," and they're like, "Oh, a little homophobic, are we?"
Yeah, I actually love when people do that. When they they're like, there's like tags for it. I actually have a tag, like if a set's going really, really badly, I have a tag where I go, "Hey, are we a podcast crowd?" And then I go, "I know you're a real listening crowd." Like if it's like really, and like that always kills because
yeah.
people are like,
Yeah,
"Oh
yeah.
yeah, we haven't been laughing. You've noticed."
the only time that I really will spiral though is if I say something I don't believe. If I say
Yeah.
something racist or sexist
Okay, no, I've
or
never-
homophobic or whatever, like something that is purely
Yeah.
for joke. Like when I'm talking about my own life, it's easy to just keep going. But when I say something that's clearly not real and they don't laugh and they're looking at me like it's real, you know?
I never
I
say
noticed
things I
that.
don't agree with, but I say things sometimes that are meaner than I would ever intend to be.
Yes, for
Like
sure.
sometimes I'll like roast an audience member, and then I'm like, "Oh my
were
god,
talking
I'm
about
so
this.
sorry." Like
Yeah.
This
I
is
would never
like-
do that, you know. But then it's like in the moment, you're just like I was talking to Wasim about this, and he was like saying that like he doesn't always obviously like roasting an audience member, but he's like it's so much funnier when you do it well.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
immediately funnier than being nice to them. And
Yeah.
this is a thing like camaraderie with the crowd versus like being an antagonist, you know, where you're just like that thing, and it's a reflex too that I've done too, where it's like you're starting crowd work and somebody has like a fucking shirt or something, and you just say something like "nice shirt, idiot," but because you have a mic,
Yeah.
it's like instantly kind of funny, but it's like a cheat.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
I don't like it. Yeah.
It's whack and it's not good, and it's like it shouldn't be like that because it just reeks of insecurity, you know. And it's like it should be more. If you're gonna roast, let it be like natural. Let it be somebody actually does something weird or
Yeah.
says something.
That's it.
Goofy,
It's-
you
I
know,
really
and,
like to do
Yeah.
like almost maybe even like hype up funny.
Yeah.
Like what they're saying, like I'll try and like hype them up, especially
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
a goofy crowd member. Like
Yeah.
it's everyone's kind of like aware of what's going on. But then you get to that one person who tries to be funny or whatever, and then you just rip into them.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I
Or not
like
rip
that.
into them, but like
But
But
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, give them a little taste of their own medicine. Like they're kind of
Exactly.
interrupting the show. You can be like sassy with them. But yeah, I like more like with crowd work, like doing like things that like are like, I don't know. I don't want to shit on the audience. They literally,
No.
they paid money to be there.
and you should be
And
you.
like you should get to, it's also fun to get to like know them because like you're
Yes.
sharing so much with them, and then getting to know them, it could A, like spark a new joke in your mind, or like B, you just get to like know who's there, and it's like fun to like bring it into like your set without being like, "Fuck you,
Yeah.
Tracy, you
Yeah.
fat bitch."
Just
I
'cause
like
you're on
making
stage
fun
doesn't
of
mean you should
what
be a
they
piece
say.
of shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're all nice in person. Why would we be fucking assholes on stage? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I like to bully people based on what they say to me during.
if they say some shit
not
out
what-
of pocket, yeah.
not just them being there. But if like if I'm talking and then like, because that's what crowd work is like you learn
Yeah.
things about them and then you make them laugh, and often it's making fun of them, you know, but in a nice way where everyone's kind of on board.
Yeah. Like cheeky.
yeah.
Yeah, cheeky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at us
Don't
talking
wanna-
about crowd work.
As though I ever do it. I go, me and crowd work. Bitch, you never do crowd work.
It's
But you know
so
what I
fun.
think, like talking about getting to know them and shit, whenever I'm like writing and trying to make jokes, what I like picture is like, you know, in the frat, we'd hang out and like talk shit, and then we'd all like, we'd end up laughing. You know, you're hanging with your friends, you talk shit, and the stories start coming, and it's like, that's what I try to do. And that's the vibe I try to go for on stage. And it's like, if you're on stage, like, ripping into some guy because he's wearing a collared shirt or because he like stuttered on his one answer, then it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
you're being a cunt, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so.
And
you're
it's
not
also,
homies.
to be fair, too, especially if they're shorter sets. If you're doing 5
Fully,
minutes,
yeah.
to develop the trust from the audience and to
Yeah.
be likable enough for them to be on your side shitting on one of them. You know what
yeah.
I mean? They're
Yeah.
like,
That's
if he's going to
hard.
shit on them, they could shit on us too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you get them on your side first, if you're doing like a 30 minutes or whatever, and then like, you almost like at a certain point can do whatever you want, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But you have to get them on your side, yeah. That's why
Yeah,
it's like
exactly,
it's almost
yeah.
like if you have a 5 minute set, it's like you don't have enough time to really like connect or build that connection or build that trust. If you can do it, it's like really
I know,
impressive. Most of the time I feel like you get that hosting.
I think that's
because you need time.
That's the challenge I'm trying to do, because I mean, everyone jokes do better when the audience knows you, but I'm really trying to write like really personal jokes, and I think it's like obviously better if you know me, and that's the puzzle I'm trying to crack right now.
Well, it's all context. If you can establish that context of who you are and what you are, it's very important. It's so important. I have jokes that I do, and every once in a while I'll fuck up my set, not in terms of like I forgot, just I don't order shit properly.
Right.
And jokes do not work without the character establishment, so that like they can kind of think like me by the time they're there.
And that, I think, is the cool puzzle, and the art is like you do that character arc in like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Or even like 2, right? Because you got to get it at the start.
You need it fast. Exactly.
Yeah. If you can start off and they know exactly, they know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this, about how I felt like at the end of this year, like I was like, a big thing I felt was like every time I come off stage, I was like, I feel like people don't know much about me.
Agreed.
Like I feel like the jokes that I'm telling, they don't like, they're funny and they can kind of get an energy of who I am based on like my delivery, my cadence, but I'm not talking about anything that's quite personal. Like you wouldn't you wouldn't see my set, walk off and be like, oh, I know who Michelle Forrester is, like as a person, as a character.
Yeah. But also I don't think that's necessary in comedy.
Always.
No. I think when you're like headlining and you're doing a tour and you have an hour to like, and your whole like pull with your audience is like building a community based around your personality. Of course, you have to be like authentic or whatever. But there's a lot of comics that are just like plain funny and good writers, and they don't necessarily need to tell people who they are.
For sure.
So I think there could be like a mix of both.
Like George, for example. He gets on stage, they know who he is immediately. Just, like they're in it. They're
like
and
Harrison
it's just like,
never tells anyone who he is, and he's fucking hilarious.
No, but I think that they really do understand who he is.
Style.
Like 3 jokes in.
People are obsessed with him. People are obsessed with him. I've never seen people get obsessed with Harrison in a fast, like I've never seen people get obsessed with a comic as fast as I've seen people get obsessed with him. Like they're obsessed.
But he's not like that off stage, is what I mean. Like that's not really who he is. If you
kind
actually
of is.
I don't know. Every
pretty
time I talk to
close.
Harrison, I'm like, no, this is like a real human. And then he goes on stage and I'm like, this is a character a little bit.
There's moments, but there's moments where you can have like a personal moment with friends where you're not like fully like on. But when Harrison's on in life, he's always been like that. The first interaction I ever had with him, 7th grade, he was gonna be my first friend.
Josh has the receipts. He's like 7th grade.
He was sitting behind me,
Science class.
and I was like, this guy, I want to be friends with this guy.
Nice.
And I didn't watch football, but I was like, everyone watches football. I was like, are you excited for the NFL to start? And he just looks at me and he leans back and he's just like, I'm more excited for the CFL. And it's just like, it broke me, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, and once like you're in the pocket of Harrison, like he does like maybe like his first joke, whatever, like half the audience laughs. But then, like, once he hits that second joke, the rest of the audience kind of learns what he is, and then everything, it's just like, nobody can get away with some of his jokes.
No,
it has to be him.
I think what I mean is that, like, he knows his humor, and the audience knows his humor. That's his humor, but that's not, he doesn't tell personal things about himself on stage that are actually chronologically true. Like, I think, like,
you're right.
Like, I was focusing too much on, okay, I need to tell them about this part of my life and this part of my life, but I think my thing more is that I know my humor and my, like, the way I tell jokes and, like, my little, like, character and the things that I say, and I can tell personal things because they're, like, I like talking about, like, girlhood and stuff and whatever, but it's more, like, I want the audience to know, like, my vibe, my comedic vibe, and it doesn't have to be that I'm, like, oh, they don't know about this part of my life, like, it's fine.
Like, you start with truth,
yeah,
and then lie where necessary to develop the joke, you know? Like,
well, I think it's like, it doesn't, you don't have to tell secrets. That's not how I say it, or tell stories about you. But like, you need to, for me, it's like, I need to feel honest when I'm saying stuff on stage. And it doesn't have to be like, when I was 5, I got hit by a car, whatever the fuck. It's like, whatever I'm saying has to feel like it comes from a place of like, I believe this, or like think it's funny. Like, that's why I think Harrison, he's not talking about his life, but this is his humor. This is what he enjoys. It's honestly what he likes to do.
Yeah, sure.
And that comes
through. And they're honest
and
opinions of his.
Exactly.
And it really does all come from some, like, one of the funniest stints of a Harrison bit was he was hosting Grumpy's one night and his landlord wouldn't stop calling him to shovel the snow because he got cheaper rent or a month free to shovel the snow. And she wouldn't stop. But then, like, for the next 3 weeks, he would just take out his phone and be like, my landlord's calling me to shovel the driveway. And it was just so good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. I agree. Like, I don't think you have to like have an autobiography, and you can talk about anything you want.
People don't want
but
that
I think the point is that for me, how I felt about it was I just felt like I didn't feel like this was like I didn't feel like my jokes contributed to like the voice that I'm trying to like find.
Okay.
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that like I love those jokes and like those jokes got me
I
so
mean,
many
like,
opportunities.
All this to say, don't sell yourself short.
Yeah. But it's just like now I listen to a lot of like the comics that I respect always talk about things you're ashamed of. Go towards that because it's usually where like good jokes come from. And so that's something
I think I get
tried.
off on taking like embarrassing or whatever things about me and like being able to say it on stage and like turn it my way.
Yeah.
I
It
think
gives
I
you
really
complete
love that.
control
Exactly.
over the
Yeah.
things
That's
that
fun.
you think other like you're almost like your scariest secrets. Like I just started talking about like cheating on stage. And I've had a lot of people like come up to me after shows and be like, wow, I can't believe you're like actually talking about that. And I'm like,
That's
yeah.
good. That'd be some shit.
Because everybody does it.
I know, yeah,
like
yeah.
almost everybody does it.
That'll
So many people don't, but like a lot of people do.
But it's good. It's good to be able to like.
I think it's like not to be too pretentious, but it's like artistic integrity. You know, it's like if you're doing, if you're writing a joke, but you're writing like not your joke, like that's what I'm saying. You could write not your joke and tell a secret. And even though you're telling like an honest thing about you, it's not your joke.
That's fair.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
actually, you want to know something fun?
Yes.
This is a little insider Just for Laughs story, but I when I was at Just for Laughs Toronto, I was asking comics, like what's like a secret you've shared on stage, or like a secret that you like shared for the first time on stage, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Beth Stelling, and she was saying that like one of her biggest like sort of secret reveal jokes was that it was actually her best friend's story, but she told it in POV of herself. And it's like one of her best jokes,
was the friend pissed, or I guess she asked her
no, like
before?
she obviously, of course, she like got consent from her friend and stuff, but it was just like she was saying that she has this joke about like this story that happened to her, but she's like, it actually happened to my best friend, but my best friend like gave me the like rights to tell the story on stage, and it made more sense for me to tell it in my POV. And I was like, that's crazy.
But she connected to that story.
crazy.
Like there's a reason why she told that her best friend's story is probably because she connected to it in a way where she was like, yeah, I want to tell it because it makes more sense to tell it. But my voice, like it's like the Hasan Minhaj of like the emotional truth just is the only thing that really should
Emotional
be
truth,
truthful. As opposed to like, because people came at him for like telling a story like that hadn't happened to him, but that had happened to somebody in his community. And people were like mad. They're like, well, you're weaponizing somebody else's like trauma that you didn't even go through. And he's like, no, I went through it too. It's the emotional truth of the joke that matters. Even if it's not even if I didn't exactly experience the joke I told you on stage, I'm talking about the like what's under it.
I do have to say though, after
Do you
finding
disagree?
out, no. What like it's
I don't even know how I feel about it.
I watched some of the clips where like it wasn't his story, and it's a hard watch.
I didn't
It's
watch
like
it.
when he's
Okay.
like,
I didn't
this
watch
is
it.
what
It's
we're
just
going through. It's kind of like
I
it's
was
like
gonna say, I feel like it's subjective because there's like, I do agree with that. Where if it feels honest, it feels like you want to tell your friend's story POV, and it feels correct. Feels like your joke. That's one thing. But if you're deviating, it's like again, it's artistic integrity. And I know it's kind of stupid and blanket, but it's like if you're deviating and you're like really milking it, and you're not being honest
And people
anymore,
aren't buying it.
You know, then
that's
it's like
the thing, and it's
more
just
that
not.
people
It's
don't
It's like
buy
if
it.
people
It's
are
also-
buying it, then you didn't get away with it. It's like
I
It's
don't
in a
know.
stand-up special, and the purpose of it isn't to get laughs. That's the worst part of it for me. Is that it doesn't even. It's it's all
interesting.
serious, not all, but mostly serious moments in the special.
okay.
And now I do respect that because I do believe that like in an hour-long set, you need to
Sure, yeah.
get the audience low energy at some points to then bring them back up. And I think like as like a conductor of his set, he's using that, which is good, but it's just so gross. Like, like
What
watching
was
it.
gross about it?
Because it's so like trying to, it's preachy and
It's
whatever.
preachy.
It's like
you know,
an
and it's
I
like,
had to watch
Islamophobia.
it to get my-
It's
to
like
get my
a
opinion.
POC Islamophobia thing that he did, the story. You know what I mean?
I mean, the one that I really, really fully watched was about him like opening like fake anthrax and it falling on his like daughter, his baby.
Yes, that's the joke that he came at. That's the one that a reporter from like I forget the New York, like one of those like
Called him out.
New
York
Yorker,
Times.
New York Times or something tried to write a joke being like, oh, we actually like followed up and like that didn't happen to you. And like the way that he was so emotional about it, like people were like, well, this didn't happen to you. So
He's
now
like,
you're just
my baby.
so you're just like preaching and lying.
Yeah, and that feels like
I would have to look
like,
into it to form my opinion.
That
Me
feels
neither.
like
And the
church.
thing is,
know,
like,
I don't know.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm
I
not
don't
saying
even watch
whatever.
anything.
I'm just saying I didn't like it. But like also at the same time, it's like I don't like fucking serious rap. You know what I mean? It's for
Right.
someone.
I don't like any stand-up special, the preachy aspect of it. I don't
really
like
Three
any
Mics
preach.
That's
by
fair.
Neil Brennan.
I
I really
just-
like
Three
that.
mics,
not
sick
for me.
special. I
Yeah,
loved it.
I liked
Great
it a
special.
lot.
That's the only one that like I really enjoy how emotional he got, and it was like he did it so well.
Yeah.
But the concept works for it.
So it was, if you didn't, it was like 3 mics and each mic had a different topic, and one was like serious, one was like comedy, and I forget what was the other one.
One-liners,
Yeah, maybe something like that.
one-liners, jokes, and then just like emotional stuff.
And he would
Yeah.
split it up, and
Interesting.
it really worked because the emotional
Yeah.
shit was like straight, and it wasn't too long. It was
Yeah.
like quick, and he would be like, one time as a kid, like my fucking dog died, I don't know, and then he'd do like some jokes, and it was really good.
But
It's
again,
really
I
good.
think it comes back to what you said, that the artistic integrity is
Yeah.
like you're gonna feel it if it
Exactly.
works, it means that it's real. And
Yeah.
like it's like the same thing of like when people go on stage and say like crazy, wild, like quote unquote like offensive shit. It's like when someone's when an open micer means that shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah.
Like
Fully.
you can feel it in your I can
And you knew it
feel
before
it
they
in
got
my
on
bones.
stage, too.
Yeah, I can feel it in my bones when I hear a guy talk. Like when I hear women hating, I'm like, you fucking hate women.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you
I don't
fucking
like
hate
that.
them.
I don't like saying offensive shit just because you have a mic, or like saying things that are like that you really shouldn't like say, like because they're like hateful, and
No,
you
yeah.
just say them because you're on a stage and you have a mic. I don't like that. But I
Don't-
do think like I don't know about. I need to like look into the thing that we were just talking about. But in general, like also I lied before, or I got it wrong. I wasn't asking her about a secret she told. I asked her if she ever lied on stage. I was just
Right.
asking comics
Yes.
if they've ever lied on stage. And a lot of comics don't. A lot of comics were like, no, I can only tell my truth. That's just like how my brain works, which is fine. But
Yeah.
some comics do lie on stage.
I lie.
A lot of comics lie on stage. And I don't understand why it's like a bad thing, because obviously if you're using it to be emotional and stuff, I can
That's
see
it.
how that there's like a treading of a line
It's
there.
manipulative.
But
Exactly.
in general, like stand up for some reason is like the only like performance art form where people expect you to be the same on stage and off stage. And it's a performance art form. Like when you're an actor and you're playing a role, no one's like, oh, you're a villain on screen, so you're a villain in real life. Like that's not how it fucking works. So like, for example, like Anthony Jeselnik going up and saying like, I killed my baby because I don't know, or I pushed my wife down the
Yeah,
stairs.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's for the joke. Like no one believes he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
So I don't really see the issue as long as the joke works.
But that's
I
it.
lie all
Is
the
the
time.
intentions for a laugh? I believe that lying is a part of crafting a good joke. You can't always just tell the
Absolutely.
exact truth.
Yeah.
But that's it.
truth
You got to be
isn't funny
trying to have a joke,
sometimes.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the integrity of like not using it for serious moments, I guess I can understand.
I think it changes on the voice. I think some people's
Yes.
voice, it's like it's the same thing. It's like if you do a lie and you're like, and I don't think it needs to be like 100% either way. If you do a lie and you're like, this feels good, or if you do and you're like, this doesn't feel,
Yeah. I just don't like when people say shitty things just
No.
because they have a mic.
That's
And they're
not
like,
funny.
and they're
This
like,
is
you're
why-
allowed to laugh. I'm like, you're allowed to say something kind and funny.
Exactly. Yo, the punchline shouldn't be shock value. You know
No,
what I mean?
no.
9/11 shouldn't be everyone's punchline all the time. And it's
agree.
like, but this is why George is funny, because George gets on stage and says wild ass.
But then,
shit.
but then also it took George 6 years to
There you
figure
go.
out how to do it and
Absolutely.
bombing, saying horrible things.
and
Exactly.
So it's like you
offending
gotta-
a lot of people.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people that like he's walked probably the most people that anyone
Yeah,
I've
for
ever
sure.
known.
Maybe in Canada, the most
Yeah,
walks out of
and-
any comic ever.
But because
We need
what
that
he's doing
leaderboard.
is hard and it's not necessarily gonna work the first time. It honestly might not even work on an audience the first time. They might only get into it the second time they see him.
Yeah.
It's a very specific thing that he's doing,
Yeah.
and not everyone could do it. If I
No.
did that, everyone would be like, "What's going on?" Like
Yeah.
it would not make sense.
No, yeah.
you
I
imagine?
really
it's-
wanted to do that a couple, just be like, oh, I just get on stage because it feels like looks cathartic.
Good
You know
thing,
what I mean?
cathartic.
Oh, and I was so happy the roast battle. We're part of the roast league now, Montreal roast battle league, and when they were talking about George's roast, they're just like immediately grabbed the mics and they're just like, we love it. And I was so happy.
Yeah.
Dude, I
And they
saw-
knew, and then it's like that's like the amount of people that see George and don't understand that he's a character. These guys are like, yeah, he's a character.
literally-
like, immediately.
Yeah.
No, literally the first time that, like, I think the first time you and I saw him, we were together was we were at McLean's. Remember we went to that mic? It was like when we first started
Yeah,
stand
and
up.
we were like, we have to
didn't know,
stay all night.
We didn't know any of you guys. We didn't know anybody. We like put our names on the list. We were like fucking last. We were
Yeah.
like,
Is this September?
we were like 28th and
Oh, I don't
29th.
know.
It
We
was so
stayed
brutal.
no, because we started in October.
Where
It was
is
probably like October, November.
oh my God,
McLean's,
McLean's by
yeah.
the pool tables.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
Dan Kessler used to run it. Back when it was ran, I forget.
It was
who-
just
was
one.
like
it
an
was a
open
one-off.
mic.
It was a one-off. Yeah,
It was a one-off.
It was-
I'm
Sid
95%
threw it.
sure
Yes.
September.
it was September
threw it,
because
yeah.
that show was to fuck with a show I was doing the same night. So
Shut up.
I'll never forget. And I was so naive that I didn't even put it together until like a year later. It was just a
Right.
random out of the blue show
It
for no
was.
reason. That was a garbage show with a shit lineup just because I was putting together I was putting together a comedy jam and
I mean,
anyways.
Yeah.
I was on the lineup,
Goddamn.
but whatever.
Yeah,
It was like my
garbage,
second
garbage show.
It was like my second show. It was garbage.
It was
We stayed
garbage.
so long
But we
because we were
stayed so
like,
long.
oh, we have to
There were the
stay till
guys
the
heckling,
end.
right? The drunk
Yes.
guys in the back. Yes.
But we were like on the side together, you and I think that night was like we didn't know Tom yet, and Mike didn't come.
only
Mike and Jesse
knew-
didn't come. Maybe Jesse was there.
I don't even know if
but
I was there.
This was like early
Mike and
days.
That's
Jesse weren't
September
there, I don't think.
7th, 2021.
Maybe
Mike
I
and
don't.
Jesse weren't there. It was Ben Cardilli we knew.
Yes, Ben was the only one we knew.
And then that was when I was saying this isn't the moment that I was like I love Vance, because Vance was the only person after we went up that came over and was like,
Yes.
do my show. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my God.
But
why I love
all this
Vance.
to say, when George went up, the only women he could go after were us because it was just comics like in the crowd.
Oh,
And so he
God.
came after me and Kira, and then all the guys were dying of laughter, like on the floor laughing, like
Oh my
the
God.
male comics, because obviously you guys all knew what his whole thing was. But I remember that night being like, this is what people talk about stand-up being so scary
But then,
for
hey,
women.
now evolution of George.
But now evolution, I'm like, wow.
Last Monday or a few Mondays ago, we did our open mic live, and the whole night it was just a bunch of dudes, and it was just like come jerk off, ba 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 ba. Then George gets up, end of the night, and there was a woman bartender and her friend. And George is like, these poor women had to listen to this. And he did this whole thing about, he had this line that he's like, the best day in a woman's life is when she gets to kill a man in self-defense. He was like, they have guns in their pussies. They're ready. It was crazy, but it was like he did it for them. And I'm just like, yeah.
But
George,
I mean, it's just to say, like, even me as a comic, the first time I saw, I was like, this is scary.
Never being in a room alone with George.
Yeah,
Never.
scary. And
I
like
was
now
scared of
looking
him for like 3 years. I just stopped being scared of him 2 weeks ago.
Bro, you talk to him off stage and he's like, hey, yeah, how are you? Good to see you. You know what I mean?
he's
he's so nice off stage.
so,
Just like a kind guy, and then you scares the shit out of me on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, he truly is like just like he says, a fucking Mongolian warlord up there. You know, you're like, wow, look at that. Like in the history books.
one of his first sets ever, he got on stage and he yelled at the crowd, full crowd, sold out crowd. And he was like, if you do not laugh, I have a bomb in this bag and I will blow you all up. And then they didn't laugh and he threw it into the room and ran away.
Oh my God.
It's just
Holy
incredible.
shit, man.
And that's on artistic integrity. Okay. You guys, we're out of time, but thank you. I love you.
That was fun. The
I
time
love you
flew
all
by.
so
Oh my
much.
God.
Yeah, I know it flew by.
Yeah. What do they say? If time flies.
Best applause I ever got.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to plug anything before we say bye?
Yeah, just my butt. Who wants to do it this time?
Yo, fucking chill.
As she stares directly at Tom.
Yo, what the fuck, man? Man, George, look out. You got competition. Holy shit. Who knew Kira was coming in hot? Like, fuck my ass.
Okay, I guess nothing to plug except yours, but
Yeah, I know.
catch
I'm
us
good.
next week. Bye, everyone. Bye, bye,
Love you,
bye.
bye, 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 bye.